I was thinking to do a little bit of a recap on what we did the last few meetings, and also to understand how are we doing on implementing these principles. So we've been talking about the decision-making process, about agreements, rules and boundaries. And next week, we're going to talk about mutual monitoring solutions and possible ideas. And also, let me share my screen. So we're working together with principle 1 and 2, and then principle 3, we're going to talk about it. Then principle 4 is going to be decided by the legal working group, and we're going to understand how to apply that. And then number 5, accountable monitoring, both the Softgov and conflict management, Gravity, will be looking into it. So yeah, we're going to talk about it next session. And then number 6, it's going to be dealt by Gravity. And number 7 also. So there's a lot of weight on Gravity, and it's really important that we put a lot of attention there to make sure we have this principles implemented. And then number 8, we're going to talk in the following meeting that it's a little bit about like how we're going on our fractal setting, and what is the idea. I think this also has a little bit to do with comms, like how do we see ourselves in amidst the whole ecosystem. So to our agenda, decision-making process updates. We had a voting session this weekend. Thanks for everyone who participated. So we're officially moving the decision-making process to the forum. Jess showed us that, sorry, my brain is a bit slow today, that Gnosis was using the forum for decision making, and it seemed like they were having a good turnout of participation. So we decided to use that also, and that was the proposal, and it passed. So anytime that we need decisions for the cultural build, we should propose in the forum. And we had a decision making process that was implemented in the beginning of the cultural build, but a lot of you didn't see that happening and being developed. So it would be really nice if everyone can take a moment to look at the decision-making process and ask questions if you have questions about how to make a proposal and what are our agreements now. And also, we talked a little bit last the call before about advice process, if we want to implement it or not. So we had 5 votes here. It's kind of a fun, quick vote. It's the first time we're using the poll. So if you didn't vote here yet, please do so. Let's have like a signal understanding if we should use the advice process for all our decision making or not. And I just want to have a sense making, understand how do you guys feel about advice process? Do you have questions about it? Does everybody knows what it is? Or
I personally don't know very well what it is.
I can give a quick overview unless you want to, Livia. So it's really simple. It's like, hey, when you have to make a decision, before you propose something, go talk to the people who are either subject matter experts, that might know more than you about and give you context for making the decision, and then go talk to the people who will be affected by the decision. So anytime you're making a decision that, there's a subject matter expert that might be have an opinion, and I mean making a decision for the DAO. Obviously, when you want to go to the bathroom, right? So not all decisions need to be like consulted with everybody, but sometimes there are people who are experts, and there are people who are impacted by your decision. So it's really good to talk with them first before coming to a final decision, even proposing to them before proposing to the group. And then once you get their feedback, you don't have to incorporate it. It's just advice, but it's informed. And then you can propose your decision and say, informed by their things. And if, for instance, you disagree with some of their advice, you can say why you're not going that route in the proposal. That's the concept of advice process. And if someone wants to correct me on something, I just pulled that out because I haven't read it in a long time.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense.
And one of the things that came up in the call we were discussing this was like, oh, how do we know that decisions are being made by the people that have the most information about that? Or what if we have like voter apathy? And then I think the advice process actually is a solution for many of these things, because even if you have voter apathy, as long as you have the people that are being impacted by that decision and the people that know about that, if you have them involved, then it's enough already. Like the more the better, but at least getting the people that are like very in the core of that decision is super important. And then I think having the advice process as kind of a ritual that we have for all our decisions is very nice. And one thing I'm not sure about is, do we want that in the culture even for the proposals that will go to conviction voting, or just for the ones that are going to be decided in the forum that are more like cultural proposals?
I think the forum, there's a culture of that we can propose to the proposers. In the end, anyone will be able to create a conviction voting proposal, or I don't know, we'll talk about that later, but it strongly requires you to have a forum post. There is a culture in most DAOs of posting on the forum several days before posting in the DAO. So that itself is a form of advice process, especially if you go and send that forum link to the people who might be able to give you advice. And you can do it in the open and say like, oh yeah, let's modify this. Now that I've posted this forum proposal, let's modify it given the feedback that I received before asking for the funds. That's generally best practice.
Good test.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so if no one has anything to add here, we can move to the next topic. That is, am I still sharing my screen? No. Proposals that need a decision or signaling.
It's done. I've been handling. Yeah.
Oh, hey,
I'm
Jess.
dead.
Hey, Jess.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Thanks. Okay, where was it? Proposals that need a decision or signaling. So I had this issue for writing a forum post for Principle 3, that is to talk about the participatory decision making. And now it seems like we have a good direction with it. I just had one last box to check, that is write a few proposals to test. So if you have a proposal that you would like to test, to signal, to I don't know, something you've been discussing in a working group, something you've been working on that you want to see inputs there, or something you want to decide or propose to the culture, please add either here and we can make a list, or you can add straight in this issue in the comments, and we can work together to propose that, or just go ahead and propose it. That would be really cool to see more proposals happening in the forum. Now that we have this tool, we decided that we're using that for it. And then I want to pass to Santi. We talked a little bit about it in comms because it came up, but we were discussing about having some type of brainstorming to multiple ideas for contribution reward. So not only praise or not only source cred, but like tapping in our collective intelligence to see what is there, if we have other ideas, if there are blind spots we can't see. So yeah, Santi, if you want to talk more about it.
Yeah, I wanna before jumping into that, I wanna give you a little point on what things are with source cred, because I basically need your help. I'm posting a link of a spreadsheet that's created where I'm encouraging everyone to add their Telegram handle, their GitHub handle, and their forum handle. And this is because we've deployed SourceCred, and it's already getting information from our 3 channels. Now, the way SourceCred is deployed, it creates, let's say, like an account from every service that we are using. So if you're using those 3 services, GitHub, which you don't have to, by the way, you don't have to create an account on GitHub if you don't want to, and you don't expect to contribute anything through GitHub. But if you're using any of those services, actually the software picks up fetches the information from those 3. So it's like there's 3 Santis, there's 3 Griffs, there's 3 Livias, and we have to somehow consolidate that information. We need your accounts to do that. Once we have some of those, we'll start getting some information and taking a look at it and giving you our conclusions. And from there, we can all decide what's probably better, what are the parameters that we think are better to start with whenever we decide to implement SourceCred, and we'll give you a little bit more information how we think the path should be. But that's SourceCred, and I think my intention, I mean, SourceCred is good for some communities and for some ways of distributing contributions and or measuring contributions and distributing rewards, but also the addition praise that we have with the Telegram bot is great. There is no perfect way of doing it, and probably the best way to move forward is through several of them. And so, because there's people who may be doing a great job, but they don't communicate it through the channels, through Discord and the forum, and they don't get praised just because they don't do it. Sometimes this weekend, I was together with Zaptimus and Griff doing this 15 days round of teaching and counting the praise, and there's things you don't realize until you do it. Like, for instance, some people just don't, they're not so used to teach praise on the channel and do it. And if you don't do it, you don't get registered on the spreadsheet, and at the end of the day, you don't get as much praise as someone who may be dish praising every single action that they do. So there is no perfect system, and the best is to try different ones and probably use different ones, not just one. And at the end of the day, if there are several of them, probably at least from one or the other, more or less everyone will be able to get rewarded. So my idea was to sometime before we launch, try to discuss with whoever wants to different ways that we may know or we may think could be interesting to implement. Go ahead, Jake.
This is just a quick thing. It's really difficult to try and give 80 people praise at one time. It doesn't really work. I tried, and it didn't like it. And I tried to fix it, and it wouldn't let me do it. So that's just a heads up. Stick with a small group and maybe just break it down a bunch of times. That might work better.
Jake, I've seen that big try from yours, but you know, if you try with 3 or 4, it works. So you just keep adding, and as you keep adding, it will keep working. So that was my reflection. I know there's some people who doesn't understand how SourceCred works. There's other people that knows a little bit about it and is concerned because it's not perfect. Of course, it's not perfect as it's not perfect the way we are giving the praise right now. But the more we have, the better we will do. And of course, we can always tweak, and it's not something that we do automatically. At the end of the day, there's always the human touch behind it, and you can always try to be fair and do the things the best you can. So that was my point.
From my side, I will start to update the instance with the people that is already in the spreadsheet. So yeah, I'll try to do this by this week and
Perfect.
create the addresses and that.
There's a YGG that just showed interest, and he's gonna be ready to help with the data analysis whenever we start fetching all the information, which will be great. And also Tonga and Durgadas just showed interest, so I'm gonna try to update them on what we are doing. Although right now there's not much that they can try to help, but I'm sure. I mean, I will share with them where we are, and we are open to get on the group whoever is interested and willing to help or just get involved or understand what we're doing. All right.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Santi. Thanks, Mateo. It's really cool the work you guys are doing with SourceCred and thinking rewards, and one thing starts to push the other, right? So that's awesome. And we have 12 minutes left. I want to do a quick round of first, the proposing a written agreement for our rules and boundaries has been a little tricky. I'm feeling a little bit stuck with it because I think there are many moving parts happening simultaneously. That is all of the parameters that are a big part of our boundaries and rules that are the hard boundaries and rules, and there's the soft boundaries and rules that are our cultural agreements that come from that and are very much related. But there's also a lot of things that we've been establishing as a community that could also, I mean, I'm sure we already have a lot of agreements and maybe they are not written down yet, but we've been creating a culture and every culture has agreements. So we did a very cool exercise yesterday with the common stack that was for each one of us to share what is something that what is essential for us to be our best in our work and what we're doing. So I want to pass this question around for you, and maybe we have like 40 seconds each to answer. That is, what is essential for you to be your best in the TEC? So with those answers, I'll write them down and hopefully we can come up with some social agreement from it and put together with the parameters and all the other discussions we've been having. Yeah, Jake?
Can I go? Okay, 50 seconds. The biggest thing that I've noticed in my short time here is the dichotomy and how different this is from something in the scope of size. Like, so from big oil companies and drilling contractors and companies with hundreds or thousands of employees, even when we do meet each other in, like, for whatever venue or aspect, we hate each other. We do. We're assholes. We don't want to talk to them. Field hates corporate. Corporate hates field. People don't get along. It's really stressful if you're caught in the middle of that with management. There's always this constant pull besides you just being able to do your job. The fact that I love doing what I'm doing for this outfit. Like, this is just fun. Every day I get to learn something and I get to contribute, and people are happy and people actually have nice things to say to each other. And it's just really awesome, to be honest, considering I'm used to people like really, if someone's shaking your hand, the other one's got a knife in your back. And I mean, that's the way it is. So it's just really cool.
One thing from that, is there something that, so from what you said, what is essential for you is to have a healthy relationship?
Yeah, the overall positivity, the attitude, the people are genuinely like, your good intentions and distractions. Just how simple that may seem is actually really huge, you know, because most people just show up and do whatever they're supposed to do, or they don't even do it and don't care. You know, they're just showing up. They're just bodies at a place. Like, this is different. And I really appreciate people's energy towards what they're doing, and that we're all thankful for whatever anybody's doing. It really makes you feel good to be here. So yeah, that's my big thing as a group, especially this size. Morale.
Thanks. And who do you pass to?
I'm so bad at this. I'm gonna pass to Zeptimus.
Thank you, Jake. For me, what I think, if I do my best, it will help to people to find everything what's going on, and the better I do, the more organized it is. So that's what I think. Like, if I put my best, that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. I don't know. I'm short. I'll pass it to.
I'll take it, because I want to make sure that we get the gist of what Livia is trying to do. So the goal is to find out something that you need to really be like 100% impactful in the TEC. So for instance, one thing I need is trust, and in the process and in the and that people believe that we're going, without being able to see the whole picture, that they know that there is mutual trust, that everyone has their own piece under control, and that we can all push this forward together even while things are so ambiguous and we don't know what impact hours are worth. We don't know so many things that are really important and critical, you know, and just being able to live in that ambiguity. I need everyone to trust each other, that they're doing their best, and they'll handle it. I'll pass it to you, Livia. What do you need?
Thanks, and thanks for clarifying. What I need, I don't know why I wasn't expecting the question to come to me. I think I need an open, like a culture of yes, that I think we have it very much here, that whenever an idea is thrown to the group, that there is a yes, let's do it. And this, like, embracing each other's ideas. And I'll pass back to you, Zep.
Yeah, now I understand better. Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, for me, actually, like, it's the same way as Jake. Like, when you come here and you see all this positive energy, that's all I need. Like, I don't need anything else. Like, really. Like, I was talking at the beginning, like, I was whole day playing video games and I was mad at myself a lot. And right now, I really feel happy. So, I mean, not all the time video games, but I also did sport. But, you know, that's like a therapy session. It's awesome, really. And thank you all for that. And I'll pass it to Tam.
So I love those so far, that trust, openness, and positivity. I agree with what Jake was saying, that it's just such a positive and focused community. I'm gonna add something different. I think what I want to add is like, you know, year 2140, like futuristic vision of what we're doing and like the impact we'll have for long after we're gone. And I think that, like, you know, imagining that is something that really, you know, motivates me too. Can I pass it to Ruben?
Yeah, I have a little bit of background sound here, but what do I need to be my best in TEC? It kind of relates a lot to Griff and Livia, but I would use different terms as acceptance. So like acceptance for the ideas and feedback on the ideas, and also the need or the will to execute them. Which then I think also facilitates or creates trust in between everyone in the community or the commons, and that's kind of also what makes me kind of come back. Let's say it like that. Come back to the community and contribute to it, because that's really what makes me come back and stay for more and see what it can become. Yeah. And I'll pass it to Santi.
To me, it's something related to what Griff said, but from a different perspective. I feel I need to feel that the community is inclusive. It welcomes everyone, and if I feel welcome and I feel like I'm being part of the group, I absolutely feel I can trust anyone on the group. And if I trust anyone in the group, you know, I can give everything out of myself. That's basically what I need. I'll pass it to Juan Carlos.
I think that what motivates me a lot, and I think it's essential, is the to be humble about knowledge, and that everyone here can learn from each other. And even though I am younger or I come from another country, when I speak, I feel valued, and I think this is very important for me, and could be very important for other people. Valued when they. And I will pass it to Mateo.
Sure, man. Well, personally, for me to offer more value, I would the day to last 48 hours or so. That would be amazing. But for the group, I am with Griff. That trust is really well needed, and maybe like a certain or more to the point on how can I help. Like someone gets on board and say, well, what do I do here? I wouldn't like to be in a meeting every day, etc. So maybe making a specific issues that someone new can jump into and get as little information and maybe get interested, and as time passes, he will get the grasp of what what the end goal is. So yeah, I would think that uh, in with trust and specific goals that anyone new know can get and offer value instantly as quick as possible can offer a lot for us. I'm not sure who hasn't gone. Dan?
Haven't I gone? No, I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah, I mean the day run. But yeah, basically something you mentioned, Mateo, like those maps you find in malls, like You Are Here, something like that. For some people, I love this space. I've been pinning some friends like, hey, you got to jump on this. This is beautiful. Because I feel it is inclusive. I feel it is. I mean, it's got a huge shared purpose, and you know, I feel a good flow. But yeah, I had to grab friends and get them here. It will be easier to say like, look at this. you can jump on this. It's easier. But yeah, I mean, I think we'll get there. So that's good. Who else hasn't gone? Was I the last? I think so.
I can go.
Tonga and yeah.
I think at mute. Okay. Yeah, for me, as Griff said, also trust is really important, and also coherence. Like, if I see someone telling, "Yeah, we value you, and we love what you do," and then you see they acting not in that way, like that really makes me so upset that I can't focus sometimes when I see people having like double discourse. So yeah, that is what I think is important, is to also to, for example, if value the time of the others. If we schedule a session and we won't be able to make it, obviously tell them that we won't be able, and that's okay, but don't make them think the whole time that they are going to have a session and then cancel or not even say anything. And that stuff makes me so upset that I get so, I want to go somewhere else when it happens. But I haven't seen it happen here in token engineering, and that's why I feel really good. Yeah, that's it. I pass it
Thank
to
you.
Atta. I think he was going to talk.
Hi everyone. Yeah, for me, I think a combination of Tamara and Griff. So basically, a vision of a future that's really exciting, and that you can feel the kind of tectonic shift it can unleash, and working towards that with a group of people who hold mutual trust towards each other. Yeah. And anyone else?
Jess also hasn't gone.
Yeah, I talk a lot, so I was just letting everybody else go. What do I need? Yeah, I feel like for me it's pretty basic, mutual respect, and like I think Zeptibus mentioned, just like the good vibes and feeling seen and heard. And I think that's something we do really well in this community, and I hope we continue. Of course, we can always improve. Yeah, I think acceptance and understanding, like a shared understanding that we're human and that things happen and that we're not always perfect, and that we're doing the best we can. And yeah, just like a caring. I think for me, it's really important to be in an environment where it's both like nurturing and I can nurture, like that people feel there's like, we're not just a number, we're not just like a name, or like we're, yeah, just having an appreciation for the whole being, like, and that we're all experiencing many of the same things. So yeah, I'll pass back to you, Libby.
Thank you. Everybody went? Yeah, right. Cool. That's awesome. Thanks everyone for the answers. I think that was very enlightening for us to start creating this agreement. And also, if you have any ideas, if you have clarity about our boundaries and rules, if one day you're walking around and you think like, oh, I think this is a rule for the TEC, I think this is a boundary that we have, this would be really helpful if you can add to the post, and we can all think about it together, because the more we put our minds to think about this, the more accurate we will be, because we are in a very like the membrane of our system is very translucid, right? Sometimes it's not so easy to identify. So Yeah, thanks everyone for coming to this call. We can wrap up 5 minutes earlier, unless anyone wants to share something.
I would like everyone to send you good energy for you to get better.
All right.
That's so cute. Thank you. Thank you, Tonga. Thanks, everyone. And I'll see you all in the book club in 4 minutes. Yes.
Thank you, Maria. Thanks